to Embrace Life UK. I'm Samantha Thomas, founder, personal trainer, health and wellbeing coach, and workplace wellbeing trainer, specialising in leadership and management. So today's Exercise Tuesdays. Thank you for joining me. I wanted to allude today to an article that I've written. It's up on my website, and it's called. Let me just get it up, and I shall tell you. Bear with me a second. It's called Muscles and Movement. And in this article, I talk about the relationship between your muscles and your movement. Clearly, it says what it says on the tin, or does what it says on the tin. So, we talk about effective exercise, and that's exercise that is done to support movement patterns that you require. So, if you do a lot of sitting and standing and walking and general lifting and carrying, reaching to cupboards, bending over, then you want to be doing exercises that kind of support and strengthen that movement so that becomes easier in your everyday life. And when we sit and when we're talking about effective exercise, that's what I'm alluding to. Across the wellness space, this is also known as functional movement, as a point of contention over that choice of words. However, I think it's a perfectly good, acceptable choice of words. It's movement. It's alluding to exercise that allows you to train for the function that you need to move for, which is functional movement. That's pretty cool. But the reason I want to talk about it is because a lot of people do jump into exercise, and they jump into hard and fast exercise, and it's a little bit of an all or nothing mindset where they go in head first and then they end up being injured. Or on the other side of the spectrum is there's people who just don't move well, they don't feel comfortable in their bodies, don't know how to do anything about it, and then therefore they don't feel confident with exercise at all. And I wanted to kind of close the gap between the two with this video, not so much with the article. The article is a very brief overview. It's got a couple of studies and talking points on there, and some references to academic research, which is what I like to do in all my articles, is show where this information comes from, and that I'm not just making it up on the spot myself, because I'm not a scientist, and I have no business doing that kind of thing. But I can share what scientists put out there and what I've used in practice, and encourage you to at least give things a go and how to do that safely, so that you're reducing your risk of injury and increasing your basically enjoyment factor, because you want to enjoy what you're doing, otherwise you're not going to do it, right? It's that simple. So let's start with people who don't feel like they move well, who feel uncomfortable in their bodies, and exercise just eludes them. I've had a few clients like this. They hate exercise. A couple have come to actually really enjoy exercise after training with me, and some just will never enjoy exercise at all. I don't have a magic pill that says I can make everybody enjoy exercise just by doing it right. That's not how this works. But it does build confidence in people saying, actually, do you know what? I don't enjoy it, but I know it does me good, and I know I'm doing the right things, and I feel confident because I do it. And that in itself is, for me, a really good, big positive result. So let's start with functional movement. The first thing I do as a personal trainer is screen movement. Then I do strength and fitness assessments. Now, strength and fitness assessments, as personal trainers, we are taught to do straight away. The one thing I realised after about a year of personal training is that people just need to learn to move well first, so that so that they don't get injured, whilst undergoing loads of weight or really intense cardio, because that's not fun, and it puts people on this yo-yo trajectory, and it's not fun to see people on that trajectory at all. It's more fun to see people just slow themselves down a little bit so that they can keep a consistent routine and feel good about that and carry on getting the benefits of what that brings. So basic movement patterns are the movement patterns that you perform every day that help you function throughout your life. So they're slightly different for different people. There are no universals movement pattern per se, but we all do the same things: sit, stand, and walk. They're the very basics. So if we're sitting posturally poor most of the time, if we're standing and we're slouched and we're not very confident and we're not using our postural muscles to support us in their best function, then it is going to affect our willingness and desire to exercise and move differently. It's also going to affect the way that we think and feel about ourselves as well. So it'll affect our movement, behavior, and communication, which is something that I'll talk about later on. I deal a lot with communication, and it's really interesting, the relationship between communication, nutrition, and exercise. But here I'm just going to focus on the exercise bit. The other thing we all do is walk, and many people walk with their feet in or their feet out and their knees knocking and their knees coming out, and bow legged and whatever else. And yes, genetically we are all built slightly differently, and we all have different things that we're going to either benefit from or not benefit from. That's a given, so I'm not going to argue with genetics, but I am going to say that if you do experience pain in your joints or in your muscles when you're moving, when changing your movement patterns could potentially be the answer to that. And I say potentially be, it's not a given. It depends. There's a whole other plethora of things that could be going on there as well. But these are things that are easy for you to try at home. So the whole point of this video is to give you a takeaway, something to try and help at least boost your confidence. So if you're a non-exerciser, and you want to start moving more, then just thinking about your movement patterns and how they can improve, i.e. you stand up and you walk and your toes go out slightly and you get a little bit of knee pain and you know that there's niggles in your calves and your ankles. Maybe, practice just standing up with your feet straight and your feet aligned with your toes, and just kind of get that movement right. So that a few squats, sitting down, standing up, sitting down, standing up, within a safe position, your body learns through repetitive movement, and that's how we build strength and muscle in the first place, is through repetitive movement. So there's all sorts of little things that you can do. So when you walk, you can be aware of the way that you walk, and if you're walking in a compensatory pattern and you find that you're swinging the hips just a little bit too much, or you're swinging them round, or you're slightly off balance, then just stop, take a pause, and try and straighten yourself out, bring yourself just a little bit taller, and then walk from that point and see what changes and see how that change feels for yourself. These are, like I say, these are things you can all do for yourself. You don't need to pay anybody like me a fortune to go and try these things out for yourself, which is the benefit of them. And they can really benefit your self-esteem and then the way that you relate to exercise. Now, if you already are an exerciser and you really enjoy it, but you get injured a lot, or even you don't get injured a lot, you just want to make sure that your form's good. I've had people that just don't get injured, but they've got this constant thing in their head: is my form right? Is my form right? Do I look good doing this? Now, there's very little data to support perfect form, because, like I said at the beginning, we are all built slightly differently. We have different level lengths within bones and joints, for instance, which contribute to slightly different movement patterns. Some of us are going to be better at doing some stuff than others. This is normal. However, what you can do is really look at the sport that you're doing and see actually what is the good movement pattern, what is the biomechanical pattern for that sport, what muscles are the primary muscles that need training for that sport, what muscles are the secondary muscles that need training to be able to perform that well, and am I translating that into my training so that I can perform better in that sport. So we call this sport specific training, or strength and conditioning is another term that is used and thrown around the wellness space a lot, because a lot of people go in for a strength and conditioning qualification. I've half done one myself. I didn't quite finish it because of COVID, but I did all the learning and the theory around it, and I certainly practiced it on myself and my clients, and I really like it. I think, with regards to being able to hone in a performance from a sports point of view, sports specific training is really good. And I liken that to, if you want to be a good biologist, you're going to go and study biology. You're not going to go study chemistry, for instance, because you want to be a biologist. So if you want to be a power lifter, you're going to go and study the muscles that will help you become a better power lifter, not the muscles that will help you become a better runner. So they're the quick, easy analogies that I'll use for you to be able to pick up on, so that you can start to get this idea in your head of, actually, this is the movement I want. So how does that translate into training? For instance, if you're a swimmer and you do front crawl, I'm a swimmer, I'm a front crawl or freestyle swimmer, then it is a lot of overhead, it's a lot of delt, it's a lot of shoulder, it's a lot of pushing down. So I've got a lot of really good upper body strength, which is rare on females, a bit because I'm a female that's always using my upper body. I'm a swimmer. So I generally don't struggle with upper body strength. Women are generally stronger in their lower body than their upper body, and men are generally stronger in their upper body than their lower body, which is why men don't like training legs traditionally, and women don't like training upper body. You'll find that's quite a convergence within gyms and within the wellness or the fitness industry, should I say. So yeah, just going to leave you with that to think about. I think I've given you enough there. Think about your movement patterns. Think about how changing your movement patterns might affect the way you feel and your confidence around doing stuff, and how it might affect your performance. And please come back and comment. Let me know if the results of you trying this. See what's happened. See if it's giving you something to think about. And if you like this video and want to see more, please like and subscribe. I'll be trying to release these now every week on a Tuesday. It's Exercise Tuesdays on Embrace Life UK. I do have a newsletter you can sign up to, so I can let you know via email when the latest video has landed. You can subscribe, and then you'll get the notification. You can have the YouTube notifications. But either way, just take what you need, and keep practicing and keep learning about what your body can do, because you'd be surprised how much it affects a lot of other areas of your life in a really positive way. When you just start to discover the basics of movement, they can be really, really fun things to do. And I'm just going to leave you with that. Thank you for listening. Bye.